Episode of Care Sandwich. I have a really fun guest coming up soon here. His name is Seth, and he's a personal injury attorney in Atlanta, law firm owner, and workers' comp. And I am going to bring him onto the virtual stage here in just a second. But first, check out this video.
Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Eberline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care.
All right. Welcome to the stage, Seth Bader.
Hello, Margarita. Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you share your story with us. So tell us about yourself.
Where do I start? I could start with my practice, or I could start with my life and my family. I'm going to start, I think, where it's really most important, and that's the family. And that's that I'm a husband, I'm a father of 4, and I'm also the proud head coach of the NYO Pirates. Yes.
That's awesome. And for those that don't know what that is your son's.
Yeah, so my son plays, it's a t-ball, a coach pitch baseball really at this point. And, we're going on our 4th season. He's turning 5 this year. So we're going on our 4th season. We had a season, fall, spring, fall, and now we're into the 4th season in the spring. And we have never lost a game. We are undefeated. We've never won, but we've also never lost. So that's the important thing. We're going for another undefeated season.
That's awesome. So you're a family man, and then in your spare time, you do this little thing called personal injury and workers' comp law firm ownership. You just celebrated a whole reinvention process. Talk to us about your firm. How did you get to where you are now, and what just happened a couple of weeks ago?
Happy to share that. So, how I got here, I'll just put it simply, is through a lot of hard work, through a lot of resilience, and willing to take that leap of faith many, many years ago. And frankly, continuing to take that leap of faith over and over and over again. So that's at a high level, that's how I got here. But to tell you about the firm, I founded the firm in 2008. I was an insurance defense attorney for about 5 years before that, and really knew that I always wanted to have my own business, to build something of my own, and really do something impactful, not only for clients, but, for team members, for other lawyers, for other legal professionals, and really to build something that I could be proud of and that they could be proud of, in a place where, hopefully I can fulfill my vision and they can fulfill theirs. So, so I founded the firm in 2008. In 2018, or really 19, I added a partner to help with the operation. And then in 2024, really the end of 2023, we ended that partnership. And so I, now own the firm myself, and it's been quite a journey. The whole thing has been a journey. We don't have time for it on this call, unless you want to spend, a few days. But what I'll say is that the firm, first of all, I think you have to constantly reinvent yourself, right? I think that's critical to continuing to grow. They say you're either growing, or you're dying. And so I think that there's an element of reinvention, really, if not always, consistently throughout the journey in life and as a business owner. But over the last 2 years in particular, we've really gone through a massive business transformation, and it's been very, very challenging, but also something I'm incredibly proud of and really excited for where we're at. But I thought it was really important recently that when we did our annual kickoff, to really provide clarity about where we're at and where we're going. And where we're at and where we're going is that we're raising the bar, and we're really redefining our standards because I believe that it's only through standards that you can really achieve your goals. I think that, I think, there's a saying that you don't rise to your standards. I think you essentially, you don't necessarily rise to your standards. You kind of fall to what they are. And so the higher the standards, the higher the opportunity for you to achieve, what you're trying to achieve.
I love that you brought that up, because I think, and you haven't really painted the picture, so I'll paint it for you. You have a massive firm, a massive team. You have a brand that is very well known, and people don't realize what you're describing right now, that for somebody like you, vision is so important, and articulating that vision and brand is important. And I think that many times in the law firm ownership journey, we think about scaling in terms of more cases and investing in marketing and operations and like all the nuts and bolts. And it's almost like, oh yeah, the visionary statement of the leader is kind of like a nice to have. What I'm really sensing from you in this conversation, and also just from what I've seen, like this is a priority for you. Like, talk to us about that. Like, what would you say to a law firm owner that says, oh, well, like, why I don't need to worry about my brand or about my firm culture or about, where the vision of my law firm, like, as long as I know that I have this vision and I want more cases and I want to grow, that's all that matters. Talk to us about what it looks like for you, why you think it's important to constantly communicate that to your team.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, what I heard you ask me is really a couple of things. One is around vision, and another is around brand. So I'll just both of those. First of all, if you don't have a visionary and you don't have a vision, and if you don't have a vision, there is no North Star, there is no destination that you're seeking to get to. And without that, you're really just kind of, you're kind of going in circles, right? You need to set the vision. You need to have a very clear vision. And not only do you have to have a clear vision, but your team needs to know what it is. I think if they don't know where we're going, if they don't know, where the business owner is going, where the business is going, it creates a sense of insecurity, uncertainty, and there's really nothing to rally behind, right? And I think that, one of my mentors, said that people want much more than just money. They want two really critical things. One is a sense of purpose, and one is a sense of belonging. And I think when you cast that vision, it helps to let people know what are they going to be belonging to. Like, it creates the opportunity to have that sense of belonging, and it also creates the opportunity to have a sense of purpose. Obviously, the vision alone doesn't work. A vision without a plan is, I think, they say it's just a dream, right? So I think you have to have a plan. You have to execute. I do think that execution is definitely the hardest part. But again, without a vision, you don't even get an opportunity to create a plan to get there. As far as brand, and I say this as somebody who really loves the marketing component of business ownership, and that is that a lot of people mistake and misunderstand what brand is. I think they think brand is a logo, brand is a tagline, brand is a commercial, and all of those things contribute to the brand, but they are not the brand. The brand is the culture. The brand is the operations. The brand, frankly, is the standard. Like, what are your standards? When you think about companies that you really love, that you engage with, that you buy from, right? It's not the logo. You're not working with Amazon because they have a nice logo or they have a lot of trucks on the road. You're working with them because they make shopping so convenient, right? And they do it in such a consistent manner, and they do it not only consistently, but they do it well, right? Most people have Apple. I mean, I don't know. There's a few odd folks that have Androids. Sorry, folks, but people love Apple. People love Apple. It's a beautiful product. Everything they make, generally speaking, works at a very high level. It's consistent. It's reliable. It's clean, and that's why you're buying it, not because they have a great logo. It's because the product is so good, because the service is so good. And that's because these companies have very high standards. And it's really, that really represents the brand. It's the experience. It's the product, the quality. And I think if you have high standards and you hold your teams accountable to that, and your teams hold themselves accountable to that, then you're going to have a really high quality brand. The messaging is just icing on the cake, but the messaging has to be consistent with those high standards.
Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the conversation and your sandwich as much as we are. I want to take a moment to share a few words about our sponsor, Marketing Boss. If you're a law firm owner looking to supercharge your growth, our team at Marketing Boss is here to help. We've got over a decade of experience and a proven track record, and we specialize in growing law firms like yours with data-driven marketing leadership. So if you own a law firm and you're ready to get a predictable, steady flow of cases from your marketing, let's connect at marketing-boss.com.
Seth, what would you say to a law firm owner that is in a phase of their business? And I don't know if you remember what it was like for you, right? The earlier days, where maybe they're thinking, I don't have time to think about my vision, about my brand. My vision is X amount of cases and my brand is let's not mess up the cases. Like, they're in the weeds. How would you advise somebody that's in that phase of their business to really carve out a space in their mind and in their calendar to address these important things?
Well, there's a distinction between working in the business and working on the business. If you want to be an employee of your business, then sure, continue to work in the business, work in the weeds, right? And I understand, by the way, that as a business owner, when you're starting out, you have no choice but to get in the weeds. Like, you have to do it, because unless you're very, very fortunate and have the capital that you can immediately start paying for leadership and paying for employees, naturally you are going to have to be in the weeds. However, if you want to get out of the weeds, if you want to really enjoy the benefit of being a business owner, of not having to be the one doing the work, but somebody who's building something great, well, naturally you have to get out of that and you have to build something great. And you can't build something great if you're stuck in the weeds. And so I think you simply have to make the time. I mean, if you really want that, then you are going to need to make the time to figure out what you want, to get clear about that. And there's not a right or wrong answer about what that vision should be, right? I built something large, and it works for me. But I looking back, I could see why maybe I could have just maintained a smaller firm, 10, 15, 20 employees. That vision is big enough if that's the vision that you want for yourself, but you need to get crystal clear on what you want. You need to document it first for yourself, and then eventually you need to cast that vision for your team. So when you say, what do you do? How do you do it? You just simply have to be very intentional about it, and you have to do it. I mean, it's really, I don't want to say it's that simple, but it's not simple to do. I know, because I've been stuck in the weeds, and you're trying to get the cases. You need to survive. You need to close cases. You need to generate revenue, but you're going to have to make that additional time to really get crystal clear on your vision. And if you said, like, how would I recommend doing that to really force myself to do it? I would probably schedule a retreat with a spouse, with maybe one or two really reliable, trustworthy team members. And I would develop a plan to cast that vision. If you don't know how to do it, then, there's some great resources. One of my coaches at one point, Cameron Harold, wrote the book Vivid Vision. We operate off of the EOS Entrepreneurial Operating System, which I highly recommend. You can read a book called Traction by Gino Wickman. And both of those books ultimately can help you get clear about what your vision is. I think the EOS system is really great because it doesn't just help you with vision, but it's sort of a 6-part structure starting with vision, and then everything else is integrated with and supports achieving that vision.
Seth, this is great. You have been so open and so generous, so transparent. I think there's a lot of value in everything that you shared, and I'll say it in a few different words. The mindset, I think, is key here. What I'm hearing from you is you have to decide to carve out the time. You have to create a opportunity for yourself to carve out that time, use your resources, and just do it, and know that you're owning your vision, you're owning where you're going in your business. And I think that's really great advice. Just to kind of share how I've applied what you described, I have a accountability partner that I talk to regularly every couple of days. We get on the phone, and I told her, hey, do me a favor. If you hear me say I don't have time, please call me out, because I know that's a lie that I had been telling myself for many years, that I did not have the time. And I think that that's, what I'm hearing from you is just make the time, like make it a priority and get it done, because it's your vision. You have to own it. So appreciate you. I have two more questions. One is, how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your law firm and connect with you? Maybe they need help with an injury at work, or in an auto accident, or truck accident. What's your contact information for us?
Sure. So I guess both for potential referrals, which we always welcome. We're happy to pay the referral fee. Always grateful for those referrals. Or if a lawyer, business owner, COO, marketer in the space, wants to connect with me, I always love exchanging ideas. That's a big part of how I've grown is through mentorship, masterminds, and collaborations with others. And so anybody is welcome to call me at 404-888-8888. Don't wait, dial 8. Or you can reach me at my email, seth@baderlaw.com. And I mean it when I say this. I'm more than happy to. I love exchanging ideas. I love helping, firm owners and marketers and COOs that are early in this, in their business. And I love collaborating with others that are, even more advanced than me. It's like, for me, there's nothing really more fun about this business, but to collaborate with others.
So I've got one more super fun question that I ask all my guests, because this is called the Care Sandwich podcast. I like to know, what's your favorite sandwich?
That is a great question. Hold on.
Salmon sandwich. I'm just kidding.
I grew up in Miami. So, we loved a good Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
But I think, I love a really great sub.
Okay.
My wife is Puerto Rican. She introduced me to a tripleta. So,
yeah, those are yummy.
Yeah. So, usually it's something that's going to be of the Cuban, Puerto Rican flavor, just because of my upbringing in South Florida.
That's awesome. So yeah, you're part Hispanic already, just being in Florida, immersed in the culture. I love it. Seth, it's been a pleasure, folks. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. I think that there was just a lot here. I recommend that you listen to this several times, because it was a lot, very condensed information about really the mindset of scaling, and so much wisdom here. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich. Seth, don't go anywhere. I'll see you backstage.
I won't. Thank you, and good luck to everybody.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.